your story? How did you get started?
Wow. I was always a dancer in theater, always performing. I wanted to be in front of the camera. I think we all kind of do. Even if people don't tell you they do behind the scenes, they kind of are lying. No, I'm just kidding. Well,
Exactly,
you
exactly.
gotta start out with wanting to get in show business. And then
Yes.
I had graduated high school, and I was in a 2-year theater program in San Antonio, and I saw there was an internship for a local talent agency. And then
Okay.
I went ahead and did that. And I had done some research. I had heard some actors had some good luck doing
Yeah.
that. I'd submitted to agencies and didn't hear anything. I was like, well, maybe if I work for them, they might send me out. And
Yeah.
a booking agent for about 4 years. That was a
Yeah.
great 101 into the business, especially at my age. By then I was like, what, 21, 22. And
Oh,
then
wow.
no, I started when I was 18 behind the scenes. And
That's
then
crazy.
it's crazy. I just jumped right in. And then, I got the itch, and it's okay to follow that itch. I was like, I've never been to New York. I had a good friend who lived there, said, stay as long as you want. I was like, okay, I'm going. So 2010, I said, I'm just going to go.
Wow.
I saved for a while. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't recommend just going. I made where I was just interning with different production companies, whether they worked on commercials or whether they worked on documentaries. I volunteered for Latino film festivals. Always good to stay connected to your roots. It
Yes.
was a good year to just learn. And well,
Yes.
in LA, there's a huge casting director. Her name's Risa Brayman Garcia. She runs the BGB studio. She was Oliver Stone's casting director. She cast Roseanne. Huge resume. One of the godmothers of casting. And I applied to work for her, and she was like, do you really want to come out here? And I was like, yeah, if you want to hire me. And had my apartment, had my whole life in Austin. And she's like, I will see you on Thursday. I'm like, what did I do?
Wow.
But it was a great challenge. I got to cast episodic TV. I was working on The Affair for Showtime. Now that was
Wow.
just a mind-blowing, wow, I'm working with the top 30 agencies. These are named actors. This is how they get in the door. It's really not
Right.
that much different than here. They're gladiators out there. They're always in class. They're always putting themselves out there. They're always on a veil. It's their life. It's their career. They've been doing it for years. So it was just really interesting to see all sides of how the really A game actors are. What happened was I just became virtual. Like, I think old school was, where are you located? Now I could just be like, I'm on Mars. They don't care as long as you give them what they need. And
Like,
then
I'm here, I'm
even more so,
happy.
even more so in COVID, and like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter where I am. So my main markets are Austin, Dallas, LA now. I'm getting a lot of commercials out there, principal commercials, which is great, and a little in New York. Like once in a while, I'll get a call out there, a little buzz from there. In fact, I worked on the Billy Crystal film out there and tag teamed it with a good colleague of mine, Jillian Smith Mercado. And so, yeah, I mean, I'd like to open that up a little bit more on the East Coast. But,
Yeah.
for right now, I got a good thing going because I think out of all my colleagues here in Texas, I'm the most virtual one where, I'm really just getting emails from coast to coast. And then, of course, my main Texas clients. And so
Yeah.
that's really what I do. I mean, I focus on principals and extras for film, commercial, TV, new media. And yeah, I'm proud to make a living doing what I do. And
So when an actor walks into the audition room, what are some things that they should do?
I think they should just know the audition starts from then. I mean, like just carry yourself well. This is an old fashioned room. This is assuming clients are in the room or the director's in the room, not necessarily, not to impress myself, but just to kind of charge themselves up to be like, okay, here we go. Not
Right.
necessarily having to be in character, but just be prepared.
Right.
And maybe they kind of just want to see how you are as a person. Is this someone they want to be on set for 6 months with, or 2 months with? So
Right.
all eyes are on you from the second you walk in, just being aware of
Okay,
that.
so what are some things actors do during auditions that aren't the best?
I think when you come in not making choices, when you're like, how do you want it? How do you want it? Well, here's the thing. I want to see how you're going to do it first. I will adjust you later. Or if there's a specific note that I'm hearing the director say, this is the direction I see the character going, or this is how you're supposed to play. I mean, everyone's going to do it differently. Everyone comes from a different background. Everyone has a different skill level. I want to see what you're going to bring to the party. So be very
Right.
confident in your choices and we'll take it from there.
Great.
So,
What do casting directors look for in an actor?
I'm, like, let's just pretend like I'm flipping over on a resume.
Yes.
I think my eye goes right to theater and training. It doesn't necessarily mean if you don't have, 10 theater credits, I won't see you. It just means I want to see if you have the discipline to stick it out, or if you have like just skills, to do this, to take direction. Improv is very important. If I see you've been on sets with directors or clients I've known, that's great. That tells me that you know what you're.
So give me 2 examples of a really good audition story from an actor, and an example of a not so professional story.
Okay, good. Wow, something just popped in my head. And there was a nice film that involved a brother and a sister, and these women came in, and I just saw so many good women that day. And they were just the director and writer were both in the room, and were just so blown. They couldn't decide between 2 women who were great. Okay. And I just knew they were great. And they just made their choices, and they just did it, and they took direction, and they were just, again, amazing. They rewrote the script. They said, let's have them be 2 sisters. So give us a week. We're going to rewrite the script.
Wow.
We'll have, and I pulled them both aside. I go, they're rewriting the script for you because you did such a good audition. Take that as a huge compliment. I go, instead of saying, I'm sorry, I have to flip a coin, or, I'm going to let the director decide, or I'm just going to have to pick one, even though I like both. So to me, that's a great audition, was when they just brought themselves, they brought their choices. And, sometimes you never know. They could rewrite the role, or they could change the type, or they could just, even if they don't choose you for that particular role, they're thinking of you. They're going to be like, oh, but I have this other script I'm writing, or what, or, hey, Michael, do you remember that girl I liked from that previous episode? Yeah, can I see her again? I'll be like, absolutely, I'm bringing her in. Or him or her, whoever. Really bad ones that I kind of blocked them out of my memory. But
like, I don't want to think about it.
Some bad auditions when I was doing a big Instagram campaign in December was I prepped everyone. I would bring them in. I probably spent 5 minutes of each audition saying, and me or my associate would say, okay, guys, this ad's about blah, blah, blah. Let's keep it positive. It's an ad campaign. What are 2 stories you could tell me that you liked about yourself from high school? We would go down the road before we even turned on the camera. Oh, that's a good story. Can you talk to us more about that? Great, awesome. Again, just keep it about 1 or 2 minutes. That would be great. And then we'll move on to the next person. And then again, guys, remember, when I turn on the camera and ask who you are, don't say you're an actor or a model. Turn on the camera, go down the line. Hi, I'm Jane Dill. I'm a model. I'm like, I have to turn on the camera and do it all over again.
You're like, what did I say?
Those auditions just were just not able to, listen and take direction. And then I'm like, well, if you can't take direction in a casting room with 10 other people, how are you going to be on a set for 12 hours where it's all riding on you and a few others? So that's another reason we ask the questions we do. We just want to make sure you're taking direction.
So what are some tips that you can give actors if they get anxiety or nervous for an audition?
First of all, own it. It's a whole team of people. So you're one of, just many who are nervous. So it's okay to lean into it. If you use the nervous energy well, take deep breaths, do your homework. I think a lot of times people get nervous is because they're not prepared. If you come in prepared the night before, and then going back to those skills, sometimes, that's why I recommend when people take, audition classes or practice their cold reads or practice their self-tape skills.
These are questions from Acting Studio 101 Instagram, from Jessica Nadine. Do casting directors look at social media? How can they use social media as an advantage?
Good. Advertisers want us people to use, it just depends on the job, but I would say more so for commercial and advertising. I've been asked a couple of times, I want someone with a social media following. Now I have to clarify what that means. I mean, do you want 10,000 followers to do that? I think they just want to see that they're active on social media.
Okay, from Jackie Wayne, will Zoom auditions be the new norm?
It is the new norm. From March until now, it is. There's really no need. I mean, I did see 1 or 2 casting directors invite people to a live audition unless if they felt comfortable doing it. And
Yeah.
I felt a little weird about that. I was like, in LA, they're not doing that. But I think what happens is
Yeah.
people have a brick and mortar, or maybe they realize not everyone they want to see is fully set up.
Yeah.
I personally will always push for the first round at least to be on Zoom and internet. It has to be safe. And so,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
yes, Zoom will be here. Get used to it. Start practicing it. Invest in your ring lights. Invest. You don't
Right.
need a ring light. Just experiment with the lighting, and
Yeah.
even for fellow actors, if you make your little friends in your little social circles, we kind of do trades off with each other. Hey, I'll read for you if you read for me. And
That's nice.
that's a good way to do it virtually and still have a good reader that's not like asking a favor of a family member who doesn't know what they're doing.
BB thing. Tips for children, actors, and auditioning.
Ooh, we want to see kids be kids. So my first
Mhm.
thing is let them do all their other stuff. Let them play soccer. Let them do martial arts. Let them play with their friends outside. Because I mean, when they're casting kids, they want to see a kid, not a kid who's trying to be 13. I guess
Right.
that's it. When I see kids who are trying to grow up too fast,
Yeah.
those are the ones who I just don't see make it as much or get called in as much, because you want to see an organic kid just be themselves.
Right.
Kid audition, as you remember from your classes, it was just
Yeah.
about, it wasn't so much about memorizing a monologue. It was
Yeah.
more about, can you repeat this line, about, Pizza Hut pizza, because kids are only going to get maybe 3 lines if you're lucky. But as we know from commercial auditions, a lot of it's just interview style. But yeah, I mean, I would just say improv and auditioning classes are great for them, because
Right.
again, they're not going to be asked to memorize novels. They're just going to be asked to be their normal precocious selves, and just again bringing themselves to the audition. But with kids, there's a certain energy to them.
Nice. Okay, last question.
Mhm.
Overall, just fun advice to give my clients and actors in their journey.
Have fun with it. I mean, as far as actors go, just it's a long haul. And a
Yeah.
really good mentor of mine said, if you knew you wouldn't get paid to do this job for the next 10 years, would you still do it? And that was a very important question, because I think people put these unrealistic timelines on their career, and it's about the work and what you're doing, and the art of it, and just creating it, and just being a better person. And
Yeah.
and just
Well,
keep at it.
I enjoyed my time with you. I think these were awesome tips and advice. And I know that everyone's going to find this super useful. And so thank you so much for joining me. Yeah. And it was so nice seeing
Yeah,
you.
tell your people to find me on, as I said, social media. I have an
Yes.
Instagram for Michael Direct Casting. We've already, when people email me, how do I get on your radar? Honestly, I think I post 95% of my jobs on my Facebook page still. Yeah, I don't know what I'll do. And I also have an internal database too. So if I email you, there's a link to be physically added to like an email database. So that's a database I use from time to time. And I'll probably start segueing more into it, where I just do email blasts for people. And of course, through
Yeah.
your agents and your reps. So when your actors eventually do get representation,
Right.
all your agents get my breakdowns too. So that'll be
Cool.
fun.
And I'll be posting that on my page. So I have Acting Studio 101. I studied at Cal Arts and I started an acting studio here. And so all my clients are always looking for work. And I am so excited to tell them about you and to look into that and just get more experience. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.